Hey, I know it's been a while, but I'm back. The camera's a bit different because the other camera I was using was on loan from the university. And since I basically finished with my studies, I don't really have access to these cameras anymore. So maybe like hopefully along the line, I can like maybe buy one of them in the future. And for anyone who is wondering, the camera I've been using for the past couple weeks, it was the DJI Osmo 3 camera, and it's pretty great actually. But onto the topic of the video, the main reason that I am making this video is because of recent events in my personal life, and I know that other people may have talked about this a lot, and it's quite of like a highly discussed issue, but I feel like I still want to talk about it because of how important it is, especially for the older generation. And it feels good that a lot more people my age or like Gen Z are like becoming more open or comfortable being vulnerable nowadays. But unfortunately, I still kind of struggle with this, and it kind of eats at me from the inside. And I find it very like dehumanizing and shameful when I have to open up and talk about things that happen in my life or personal issues, and especially like when I have to admit that I'm not okay. And I think like maybe like my entire life I never liked talking about my personal life and my issues to people, and it got to the point where even my family were starting to call it out, trying to tell me to open up a little more, to stop being so reserved. But I just couldn't. And it would take me until I was like rock bottom, or I had no other choice but to turn to them. It was like a last resort. And I just want to say that you don't have to be at rock bottom before you start opening up to people, before you have to admit to people that you're not okay. I mean, they're there for a reason. Your loved ones are there for a reason. You don't have to be there only like when you have no other option. I mean, another thing that I struggled with was that I felt like a burden to everyone that I opened up to. Like I was trauma dumping on them. And I used to see like a lot of videos of people talking about like the dangers of like love bombing and trauma dumping. And I got scared because I didn't want to feel like I was an issue or I was bothering someone. I didn't want to be like negatively impacting someone else with my stuff. And I feel like even though we're taking a lean towards the right direction, I feel like society is still demonizing a lot of men, especially for being open, whilst in the same breath telling us that we need to be more vulnerable. But I know it's been said a lot, but vulnerability really is a strength and it's not a weakness. And if anything, it can save a life. And, you know, if you bottle your emotions or bottle what you're going through, it will eat at you and it will kind of destroy you mentally as a person gradually. Because for me, it just led to like a lot of resentment towards the world. I didn't have anyone to like, I could open up to. Now I've been practicing it a little more, especially like with my family. You know, I can lean on them. I love them very much, and they've just been helping me out. Especially like you can tell your family like a lot of personal stuff, and I'm safe with them. You can tell them stuff that you couldn't even tell like maybe your closest friends. And you know, the thing about not opening up and not being vulnerable is that it also affects your social life and your ability to make connections, because connections are formed through vulnerability and opening up. You can't make a closer connection or a stronger bond with someone if you're not being vulnerable enough, or you're not letting them know more about you as a person, because essentially that's what the whole point of it is. And if you don't have that, then it's always going to be surface level or an acquaintance. And if you shut people out of your life, especially like when they try to reach out to you, eventually they will give up and distance themselves, because you know it's a tiring. And at this point, it's like, what else can they do? Because you're kind of doing it to yourself at this point. And I used to like blame the world for a lot of my issues, not knowing that there was people literally there trying to help me out. And I felt too proud to like lower myself to seek help. And pride is also like a big thing. Like we need to stop this whole like hyper masculinity like mindset of trying to be like very stoic and stuff. Like it doesn't do us any good. and we really need to like throw that out the window. Especially like we need to like really check on our friends and stuff, check how they're doing, check if they're okay. And yeah, I've been just trying to practice like being more vulnerable. I've also been trying to like make stronger bonds with the people already in my life, and I feel like that's helping me to like feel a little bit less lonely at times. I mean, I talked about in an earlier video how the best way to feel less lonely is by strengthening the connections you already have, and yeah, that's been helping me out. Also, helping other people to feel less lonely as well. But yeah, I feel like we do need to be a lot more vulnerable and be like a lot more comfortable being vulnerable. And we may end up getting hurt sometimes, but we can't just give up, because I mean, we're humans, we're social creatures, we need to find a community. And I feel like we need to focus on like finding the right people in our lives. And we shouldn't sell ourselves out to fit in with people that we may not like or may not resonate with.